Good afternoon, Ralph. Could I start with a bit of injury news, please, if there is any?
Yeah, the injury news so far that we have a few players back in the training. Taki and Kyle are coming back in the sessions. If they are available for the game, we have a look, but it looks good.
As each week passes without a win, Ralph, and that winless run continues, do you feel an extra build-up of pressure on you and those around you with each week that passes? Football is, of course, about getting results, and you really need one.
Yeah, we need one, definitely. The last 4 games we haven't won, and the last point we took was against Chelsea. I think it's 2 games ago. So we have to look for finding our best performance. Premier League is tough if you play games like we did in the past and don't score in the right moment. We are in a moment not able to win games, but the guys, we had a short week to work on a few things. We had today one session where I saw a good attitude of the guys, and the team that will come on the weekend knows that it is a tough game for us, but we know that we are not ill or something. We still can win games, but we have to play a little bit better like we have done in the past, and we can do this definitely.
What are your players telling you right now? Have you had discussions with them? Have they offered any reasons other than injuries as to why your form has dipped so alarmingly in recent months? I mean, are there strong opinions in that dressing room?
Oh, it's normal that you listen to some arguments, not only for the players, for everybody. But to analyze games, I think it's important to look at the game more than only one time to find the reason why we are in the moment struggling of creating chances. But as I said, we are in the moment not the most self-confident team maybe in the league, but still the game as itself is not everything wrong what we do there. So the balance of having possession and taking risk is not too much risk, I think still. I think so every time when it's getting interesting on the pitch, we make some mistakes with the ball, a bad touch or a bad decision in the final third, and that's the reason why we don't create chances. And against the ball, it's also not that the opponent has massive chances to score, and we don't know how to defend. But the few moments we are not 100% defending, we get punished immediately, and this we have to stop. This run we have to stop, and therefore we need a overall performance and in every part of our game a few percent more. I think this can help us, and then I'm sure that we find back to be a winning team.
You're 7 points above the bottom 3, so the situation isn't exactly desperate, despite the winless run. But do you consider yourself in your mind to be in a relegation battle at this moment in time?
You can call it however you want. For one is a relegation battle, for other one it's something else. We know we have done, I think we have done something right in this season, otherwise we wouldn't have 30 points at that stage. Now it's about finding the first win, or a game that gives us a chance to win, because it's easier to not go in the back, to keep on winning, and then it's easier to finally take the points. But we know how to do this. It's not that we haven't won a game since ever. We had won again in the cup against Wolves and Arsenal. So yes, there were cup games and not Premier League games, but against Premier League sides. And I think we know what we have to do to play good football and to win games. But the more players we have, the more players are coming back, the more alternatives there are. And that easier it is for us to find a game plan that makes us a competitive side. And it's important to be a competitive side against Sheffield, because they will fight for everything.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, lad.
Okay, Adam Blackwell.
Ralph, good afternoon to you.
Hello, Adam.
Hi, nice to speak to you.
Welcome back.
Sheffield United then. I mean, I was watching the game last night, really thinking it would be good for you if Aston Villa had stuffed them. But of course, they didn't, did they? So they come into the game with a win under their belt. Does that make your task even harder?
It only shows that this is not a weak side. I mean, this is a team that is fighting for everything, and you see how difficult it is to create chances against, how aggressive they are, and they are far better than the first time we have met them. But um, it's not that we expect an easy game anywhere where we go. So it doesn't matter who you are facing in the Premier League. You always need a perfect performance, and it's more concentrating on what we can do better to give us more chances of winning.
What have you done this week to address the problem in the final third, you know, getting more goals? Because your goal count is down, your defence looked much more solid against Everton, but you didn't probably create enough to get back in the game. What have you been working on?
Yeah, as I said, it's not only this one part we try to develop in this week. The problem in the moment is definitely that we also have to have relatively short sessions, because we cannot make 7 or 8K in a session, and otherwise on the weekend we know what we have to do, but then we are so tired we cannot deliver. So you find the right balance of what you can work on and what you show the guys, and we will have a meeting tomorrow again where we show them what we have done today in this session. Gives us a little bit more chance to work on like we normally do in a normal week. Then we have 2 days to work on things, and we can show the players, look, this was good, this we will have to do better. There were a few topics, yeah, definitely, to come in more often a position where we can finish, and this is what the guys need to know. Huh?
The next 2 weeks, I mean, it looks to me this will sort of define your season. I know you've got Manchester City in the middle of it, but you've got, before the international break, games against Sheffield United and Brighton, both good teams I know, and an FA Cup quarter-final. So by the time we go to the international break, this next 2 weeks will almost define your season, won't it? We'll know what's left by the time we get to March the 20th.
Yeah, but every month was important for us. I cannot say that if we have won now a few games from the last 8, I think that we would be in a much better position. It's still a long way to go. I mean, you never have the time to lean back, and we also have never the time in the moment to train on a few things really intense. And then the international break will be the first time. But until then, we must bring most of the players back from injuries. After the international break, I think everybody can be back instead of the long-term injury like Ori or Will Smallbone or Michael Obafemi. But the rest will be back, and this helps you definitely, yes.
Thanks, Ralph. Good luck Saturday.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, James at TalkSport.
Hi, Ralph.
Hello.
Ralph, have you made a decision on who starts in goal on Saturday? And just on that, how much credit does Fraser deserve for putting himself back in the picture? And how has Alex reacted to missing out on Monday?
He reacted quite well. We had a good conversation. He knows that I trusted him and give him also a chance when he had not played a perfect game. There were a few, especially Newcastle, for example, where he was responsible for this third goal, I think. But this is not the key. We all make mistakes. We all have times where it works well. But we all have time where we make a few more mistakes than the others, and then you have to go in a duel with the other one, and then he gets a chance. I mean, he was one time in this situation, and he reacted very well and fight it back and become back the number one. On the goal, you're not changing so often normally, but because we are still part of 2 competitions, there's always an opportunity to do this, and therefore we need 2 goalkeepers, and I'm happy that I have 2 good ones.
When you look at what happened at the start of last season, are there similarities between the difficulties you had then and the ones you're having now, or are you happy with the spirit you're showing? You said the spirit was good against Everton, and the players are showing a good attitude in training.
Difficult to compare these 2 situations. It is fact that we had a very small squad this season. We trusted all the young players to step in. We expected maybe a little bit more from the one or the other, but it's not so easy. I think it's easy to step in a team when there's one young player for a team that is flying high. When a team is struggling, you cannot expect from players that they lift us. So this is the issue we had. We had in the beginning of the season also one young player who's playing a little bit for a few minutes, but the squad was definitely for this amount of games we had and the tough fixtures and the compressed season not big enough. This is what we see now, very clear. And but when you want to have a big squad, you have to have the opportunities to get the players in, and this is what we are always struggling with, because good players cost a lot of money, and I have spoken a lot of time about that topic. So we must find the way in the future to stretch the side a little bit. Yeah, definitely. We need in the summer a lot of new players. They have quality and help us, because otherwise it will be always a situation like we have been this season, that we have a term where everything is working well, where we are in the flow, we get a few points, we are jumping up in the table, and then there comes a situation where we have a few injuries, and then you are struggling of winning any game. So this is what you could see in the last 2 weeks since I'm here, that we have always times where it's working well, when we get a lot of points, and then times where we're struggling because of injuries or other problems we have, and then it doesn't look good.
And is it now just a case of getting to the summer and picking up results regardless of how they come, and getting into the summer as a Premier League club, so you can then look into that window and look to strengthen and look with real ambition and positivity heading into next season?
I not only look in the summer, I look in the next month. We have still in 2 competitions a lot of things to win. And as I said, we still believe in us and still believe that we can win games. And I mean, this is always the goal for every team, and we know that we are a little bit under pressure now, but we have a few more alternatives on the weekend, and we will be a competitive side for sure.
Thanks, Ralph. Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Simon Peach.
Hi, Ralph.
Hello.
Moussa Djenepo took a knock against Everton. Is he going to be available? And also, how much has his versatility helped this season? Because obviously he's had to play right back. He's played all over, really. But I guess you want him more in the attacking areas.
Yeah, but he showed that against the ball he's a good player, and we have to pay attention with him, because he has also a big injury history since he's here, and 3 games a week was a little bit tough for him, I think. And that's the reason why we didn't have such a long break from Monday to Saturday now, and we play on Wednesday again. So we must be careful who we take and how we rotate and how we manage the load. But important is that we stay fit.
What's the situation? Sorry, forgive me if you've recently said this, but when can we expect to see Theo Walcott back?
Yeah, Theo, it was the worst of all the muscle injuries from the past now, and I hope that after the international break he will be back. Also an important player for us, had a good impact this season for us, and yes, I'm hoping that he's after the international break he comes.
And just finally, on the subject of the international break, there's lots of. I actually don't know if it's going to affect your team with the players that you have in international call-ups, but there's lots of talk about players being withheld due to quarantine regulations and things like that. What do you make of the whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely no question for me. I mean, you cannot think that I send any player anywhere when he has to quarantine when he is coming back. So this is absolutely nonsense. Yeah, this is forget it. Definitely not, because I mean that's a business travel if you want, and why should I send them there? Yeah, nobody can say that he's coming back and he's 2 weeks out and cannot play for us. So this is not possible. Definitely not.
Thank you, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the section embargoed for 10:30 this evening, and we'll start with Dan Sheldon.
Thank you, Jordan. Good afternoon, Ralph.
Good afternoon.
One thing I wanted to ask you about is in the midst of this run you're on, and I know you're winning in the FA Cup, but you haven't really won in the league. Just your thoughts on different things you're doing. Have you turned to perhaps the sports psychologist to come in and talk to your players to get them refocused, or is that not something you'd look to do?
In the moment, our psychologist is our wife at home, I think, because we are not allowed to see anybody else. So in our bubble, we don't have, we have so less people here in because the bubble is not so big. So it's tough for us to use psychologists in the moment. They are not in the bubble. And for a Zoom meeting, I think, yeah, maybe it's possible there. But I try to be the psychologist for the guys when they need somebody else to talk. My assistant coaches are close contact to them, the physios, the doctors. So we have other players or other people. They give them a knödel if they need, or something else. But finally, I mean, we are not sick or something like that. We don't win games in the moment. The last 3 or 4 we have not won, and that is not nice. But there's nothing you cannot turn around with the right game plan, the right effort, and this is what we need to have.
And do you feel as though, I know you won't ever look too far ahead, but you are only really one win away from changing the entire narrative around Southampton Football Club at the moment? At the moment, it's very doom and gloom. But with one win, all of a sudden, everything looks rosy again. Is that perhaps helping you keep your feet on the ground?
Yeah, but this is always the same in sport. There's nothing sweeter than the win. There are now no better arguments than wins. But it's not so much to concentrate about what is then if we. It's more interesting what do we have to do to win a game. And this is what is more interesting for me. And this is why I concentrate my whole energy.
And sorry, Jordan, if I may sneak in a third quickly. Diallo, you mentioned, could be back. Now, just as he got injured, he was playing really, really well. Are you expecting him to come back and be at that level straight away, or could it take 1 week, 2 weeks before we see those performances again?
Tough to say. It's normally always necessary to get adapted to the game. So when you keep it simple, you can still make immediately a good impact in the game. When you make it too difficult and you make a few mistakes, maybe that can pull you down. But normally he's a smart guy. He knows what he has to do. And we will help him to have immediately good performance if he plays.
That's great. Thank you, Ralph. Good luck for the weekend.
Okay, Tom Crocker.
Afternoon, Ralph.
Afternoon.
Good news about Kyle being back in training. Obviously, if he is available to play, how much does that sort of change your approach or plan for the games? Because obviously having someone like maybe Jan filling in is quite different to having Kyle. It sort of changes how you can approach the game going forward. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we miss him when he's not playing. He was an important player in our best time of the season. And yes, we hope that when he's coming back, then he can lift our game. Yeah? But it's still not 100% sure if he can play on the weekend. So let's have a look.
Can I just ask you about Danny Ings? You said after the game on Monday he was a bit short of freshness at the moment. Obviously, you've sat there and had to answer a lot of questions about him and his future and things like that this season. Do you think any of that is getting to him or impacting him at all, or is he the sort of player who can shut all that speculation away and just concentrate on the football?
Sure, I speak sometimes with him about this, and I can imagine that you get more pressure when you are not committing to one way, to our way, for example, in the moment. He has his reasons why he doesn't do it, and that gives himself a little bit pressure, maybe. But I think he is experienced enough to handle this. And finally, when he misses his goals, he scores all the time normally, and in the moment he doesn't. But it's on me or on us to bring him more often the position where he can score, and this is why I'm concentrating. That we find a way to bring him more often in the dangerous zones, and then when he is there, I'm not afraid that he cannot help us. So this is my goal I have, and the rest is not so much my topic in the moment.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ralph. Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, Jordan Davies.
Afternoon, Ralph. Is one of the most frustrating parts about being in this situation the fact that as a manager you may have to rely on principles or styles of play which you wouldn't normally want to encourage, but because of the situation you're in, you have to maybe ignore what you would normally suggest, and because you need to get over the line in the next few games?
No, the most frustrating thing is that you don't have time to work on a few things. This is in the moment what affects my work the most, because when you see as a manager that some things are not working perfect, then you should have time to work on it, to make it better, to train on these things, and you cannot in the moment. So I think the automatism against the ball are still okay. This is still maybe the best part of our game, although we could never have a clean sheet in the past, especially not in the league. But the rest of the game is also not really bad, but we use a lot of energy of coming over the first two pressing lines, and until we are in the final third, we had taken a lot of risk. No, I think today in the session I liked it very much. The way we tried it was a better one, and we must pay attention that we don't overload the players with our what we demand, but they want to be players. They pass the ball through the lines, and I think we learned this and we showed this, that we are good in this, and we have been a strong side because we had a good balance of game management. And there's no reason to change it because we had a few games not winning.
And you've been involved in a few relegation battles in your career, back in Austria and in Germany. How did you react as a manager, as a younger manager perhaps, and have you changed how you react to these situations with experience?
Yes, sure. A few experience I have in relegation battle. Most of the time, it was in the beginning of my time when I was working with the club. Not after 2 years, to be honest. That we are still now not further in our development for a longer term is frustrating for me. Yeah, definitely. It doesn't look this season that we are coming in a situation that we have 30 points and then have to look behind us. But it's always like this when you are not consistently taking points. It's not matter where you are. Clubs will go over you, and then you have to pay attention. But as I said, I don't see our game so weak on all parts. We have definitely our qualities, but we are also clear that if we want to win games, we have to do a better job in the moment, and this is the goal for the weekend again.
Thanks, Ralph, and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, Tom Leach.
Hi, Ralph. How are you?
Thank you so far.
You just spoke then about your need for a bigger squad next season and your need for the right changes to be made during the summer. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious, have you been given any assurances by the club that you will be allowed to make those changes and that players will arrive?
They will try everything that we can make it happen. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Working with the squad that you've got now, you're about to enter a run of games where quite a few of them are against teams around you in the league. So obviously Brighton and Burnley. Can we expect to see you, maybe to save your players from injury, prioritise those games over games such as the Man City game, a game against a team who I think you'll agree are probably at the moment one of the best teams the Premier League's ever seen?
I will have a look. Let's have a look after the game on the weekend what we do, and at first we focus on the next game. I think it's more important in the football to focus on the next game to find the best possible squad of the weekend, and then we can think about what we do on Wednesday.
Okay, Ralph, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Neil McLennan.
Yeah, good afternoon. Just Ralph, just wondering what the approach you'd like your players to take to this game at Bramall Lane. So Jan Bednarak said in the week that every game now, which would be like the last games of our careers. Do you want the players to treat this game like a cup final, or do you want to play down the significance of it? As someone just mentioned, you only need one win from the last 7 next games to be okay, really.
I'm not such a big fan of this end time scenarios, really, because when we are not winning against Sheffield, we are also not relegated. So we are still maybe 8 points above Fulham. So I don't know. I don't see I see very clear that we have to find back our winning game, but to speak too long about it doesn't give the focus on what you have to do to make it better. I think this is really concentrate on things that you definitely can affect. That means more running, more sprinting, playing a better ball, going into duels with a better fight level, that you keep the ball more with you. And these are like the things we should concentrate on. And the end is about the result. You know, in football, there's so much luck or decisions what we cannot affect that if you win or not. So why should you think about that? That doesn't make sense for me. For me, it's more important that every player knows what he has to do on the pitch, and when he does it, then we are a strong side. And the more players we have that do it, the better we are. And this is what I am focusing on.
Do you think focusing on the result can cloud the judgment and influence negatively the process then?
I mean, it doesn't help, to be honest. It's not helping you when you think during the game, oh, what happens if we lose today? I think it doesn't help you to play a better ball. So why should you do this? Concentrate on what you can do best. Concentrate on the game plan. Concentrate on the runs you have to make, on the duels you have to win, and on the balls you have to play. And this will help you more to be a stronger side. And in the end, a stronger side has more chances to win a game. That's it.
Thank you.